ready to relax and think about your money while I talk through my money and my experience as I've gone from broke to brilliant, as I always say. And we are, of course, in 2017, when I was 51 years old. I was continuing to save and invest, just like you guys are. Of course, many of you are a lot younger than me. And of course, as you know, on my channel, I'm talking through things that I did through every year as I moved forward. And this week, I had a trigger. Page turning and tapping to share with you. Relax. Relax. You know, sometimes talking about money's not easy. And you guys know that in 2003 was the year that I had awareness. I woke up while I was in Seattle, Washington on my second business trip. I was in the Space Needle. I looked out over Mount Rainier. I was 37 years old. And I said to myself, Self, you're going to fly back home and you're going to figure out what personal finance is all about. Because I was sick and tired of being broke. You guys may know, I think I've shared with you before, I also have a podcast called Broke at 40. I'm not really producing content on Broke at 40 anymore, but I started that podcast in April of 2020, and it's relevant to something I'm going to share with you today, which are 3 tips to position yourself for financial success. Because these 3 tips are things that I remember learning about and putting into practice in 2017. And on my Broke at 40 podcast, I do talk about things like this, you know, motivation, things that you can do to help position yourself for success in the future. Because you guys know a lot of personal finance, in fact, 80% of personal finance, I believe, are your behaviors. Yes, your behaviors. Nobody else's behaviors but yours. And it's the 20% of knowledge that, in my opinion, is the easy part. As long as you have income, which all of you do, most likely you all have jobs, and you have expenses that are relatively low. Unfortunately, people have incomes and expenses that are the same. Well, how can you ever save and invest if these 2 are the same? Makes sense. Income and expenses, if that nets to 0, well, that's not good. And we've talked about on other episodes how to switch or move that pendulum so that position myself for financial success. And the first thing I would like to share with you is that you have to plan to succeed. Which is why I wanted this trigger for this week, because I would highly encourage all of you to get a planner like this. Not one that says 2003. Yours should say the current year, 2024, or whatever year you are watching this episode. And I want you to spend a little bit of money on a nice planner like this. Right? This is all of my planners were always solid, right? They're nice. I want you to spend a little bit of money on a nice planner because you're going to be putting all of your money thoughts in that planner. As you learn certain things about finance, you're going to write it down. You're going to write it down so that you can then remember and reflect about all of the things that you're learning throughout the year. That's one way that you can do better with money, is always to write things down. I want you to put pen to paper. Now, I don't know if you can hear that noise. It's really annoying. Somebody upstairs for me is doing something. Can you guys hear that? I guess it's kind of a feng shui ASMR kind of thing. I'm not so sure. Let's take a moment and listen. I have no idea what that is. So annoying. But I decided that I would not stop the episodes just because of a little bit of noise in the background. So I am going to continue. So I want everybody to have a planner. Put your thoughts down. Be old-fashioned and write your thoughts down. It is definitely going to help position yourself for financial success in the future. Number 2, the second thing you can do to position yourself for success is to have positive affirmations. You know, come up with little sayings that you can maybe create one for the year, or create one for the month, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I remember a lot of times I would come up with acronyms for the year of things that I wanted to do. One of them was shrewd. Shrewd for me. Let's see if I can get it right. In fact, I would write down on a piece of paper, shrewd, because I wanted to be thinking about sleep. I wanted to be making sure I got enough sleep. The H stood for hydration, making sure I drink enough water. SHR, make sure I get enough rest and relaxation. SHRE, E was for exercise. Make sure that I got enough exercise. SHRED, trajectory into the future. So, for example, I'm going to show you one that I created in 2018. And I wrote this on a piece of paper. This is the actual original piece of paper that I wrote this down. So, the 18 stood for the year. So, 2018, I wanted to get to $666,000 in saving and investing. By 2019, I wanted to have 777,000. By 2020, I wanted to have 888,000. By 2021, I wanted to have $999,000. And at 2022, I wanted to get to $1 million or be at $1 million, which is why I put $1 million over here on the right. So I remember writing this down, and I had it in my drawer in my desk, and I would always look at that when I was going throughout the year, just to remind myself that I wanted to get to those milestones. And each one of those milestones was about $100,000 differential. And I think, as I shared with you before, remember, as you keep your income up and your expenses down, that means that your savings rate goes up. So as you'll see in the next episode, I'll share with you that my savings ability was really high. We're talking thousands of dollars that I'm saving every year. So if you, between those numbers, was about $100,000, of that $100,000, how much of that was my money putting into those investments? Well, it was a lot. 50,000 or more. So 50,000 of my money, and then maybe 50,000 of dividends, unrealized gains, and interest. See how that works? And the more you're putting in of your money, the more you can get to your goals much faster than if you put in less of your money, because the reality is, the older you are when you start, like for me, I was 40 years old. So for me, I had to sacrifice a little bit. I had to put more of my money into those investments. But for you guys, being a lot younger than I am, I would encourage you to put as much as you can in, because you'll be able to, as you know, leverage compounding interest. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode.